Welcome! It's a great day to be a miner because we got some new hardware to set up, baby. Today we got the Canaan Avalon Mini 3 Baseboard Heater Asic Bitcoin miner. We're going to get this thing set up. We're going to go over all of the details on this thing, the hash rate, the power usage, the ins and outs, every nook and cranny, and then we're going to tell you the profitability, whether or not you should buy it, and where you could buy it, of course. In our previous video, we went over the specs, the features, and we did the unboxing, so make sure to check that out up above if you want to see that. But without further ado, let's go ahead and spin that intro. All right, physical setup. There's not a ton to the physical setup of this. We're gonna put in our power cord, we're gonna plug it into the unit, and we're gonna latch it, we're gonna plug it into the wall, and of course, we're gonna have to put our little Wi-Fi adapter into this guy and get this thing physically set up so then we can actually set it up with the app and get it mining. So again, the power cord hooks underneath right here on this side. So we'll have to, ooh, that thing is, I'm telling you, this thing is heavy. Let's see if we can get this without looking directly at it. All right, so the little latch just kind of flips up. It just kind of flips up like that. And then we're going to plug in our cord and run it out the back like so. The power switch is also right against this guy. So then once we plug it in, you just kind of pull the latch. It has like a little plastic flap, and then it will click in and lock it in place. And that's a great safety feature. And then our little USB dongle right underneath of the foot is a USB plug. And we just take our little USB dongle and plug it in like so. I wish this thing had direct plugged in Ethernet, but again, you can run a USB adapter to run direct plug-in Ethernet. But for now, we're going to set it up with the Wi-Fi as it's intended. It's great to have the Wi-Fi so that you can move it around. But yeah, that's the physical setup to this thing. We're going to run the cord out the back. We're going to plug it into, of course, our meter at the wall. That way our watt meter, that way we can see exactly how much power draw we're getting from both of our modes, our eco mode and our regular power mode. Of course, we're going to take off this plastic cap because, again, I don't know how that happened. Anyway, so now we're just going to plug this guy in and we're going to get the initial boot. And I heard it click, so that means something's happening. And we got 2 watts. So now we got something. We have nothing on the screen. The power button is turned off underneath, right beside the power cord. I just flipped the power switch, and right away the screen is coming on over here. And it just has some funny looking little dots. It says hi. Oh, here, I'll put it so you can read it. Hi. Yeah. All right. So there we go. We're powering up. We're at 80 watts already. Ooh, now we've got a nice little logo up there. So it is doing something. 170 watts, 190 watts, 200 watts, 220. This thing's firing up, which is interesting because, of course, we haven't connected it yet with our app. So the next thing you have to do is go download the app. There is in the instructions, which I don't use instructions, but inside the instructions, there is a QR code. The QR code will take you either to the Apple Store or the Google Play, and it'll have you download the app, or it might take you directly to Canaan to download the app, and if so, then you have to do the select trusted site and install it. So now I'm going to launch my Canaan app. It's called Avalon Family app. And then it launches into the little splash screen, and then it'll say my devices, my Avalon devices, and it's got one of the Nano 3s connected. I think I disconnected the other because I was having issues with getting connected. So then in the top right corner, you're gonna hit the 3 lines and you're gonna hit new devices. the plus sign, and then it will give you a list. It says Nano 3, Mini 3, Nano 3S, and I assume eventually it'll have the Avalon Q added whenever that's released. We have one of those ordered too, so stay tuned for that, and whoever knows when that's going to come out. But yeah, we picked one of those up as well. So now we're going to select the Mini 3, and then it's going to say, please approach your device, and then we're going to hit search, and we're going to see if it actually finds it right off the bat, and it sure did. It says Mini 3 underscore ECC7, and then we're going to click that device, and then it says please confirm that the machine is about to be connected. So we're going to hit connect, and now it says connecting. Hopefully it pulls it right in and we don't have any issues. And then it says right there, it said success. So yeah, that easy to pull it in. Next, it's going to want to set up the Wi-Fi for this device, because right now we're connecting from the phone to this, but this needs to connect to our Wi-Fi. So we need to identify which SSID and the password to go with it. So then I click the down arrow. I'm going to select one of my available networks. I'm going to select the one that I want this thing to always connect to, and that's going to be don't hack my Wi-Fi. So that's the SSID, and then we're going to put in my password, and my password is mind your business. Mind your business, and then we're going to hit save. Make sure your Wi-Fi password is exactly as it is to log into your Wi-Fi, of course, so that you don't have any connection issues. That little icon looks pretty cool, the little emoji. And now it's saying something different. 00, okay, 3. It says the date, 3/19. Now it's saying the IP address. So that's cool. That's giving me the IP address in a scrolling fashion right here, the local IP address. And now, just like that, it does show the Mini 3 device right here up in the top corner, and it currently says 0.55 terahash. It says 22C. So we're going to click into it and get some more information. So right away it's telling me, oh, it's doing the whole app thing where it wants me to change my password again. So just so you know, this is using 445 watts just as it is. It did fire up in eco mode. All right, so we're back into the app, and now so far it's just reading 18.89 terahash. There are 3 selections. You've got heater, mining, night, and then under the heater options, we've got eco mode, super mode. We can set a timer. We can go into the display and change our display here. And then we have a settings button. So let's just kind of play with this one first. Let's go into, we'll leave the heater, we'll leave it on eco mode, and it's showing 560 watts currently pulled from the wall. But the thing is, we've never even plugged in a Bitcoin address. So this thing is mining, and it says 18.9 terahash right here on the little scroll bar. But the thing is, we haven't programmed this. This isn't mining for us, it's mining to somebody else. There is a slider that you just kind of slide for the heater here to change the temperature. It's on high for the heat, 30C, 29C, 26, 25, 24, 22. How far can you go down? You can go clear down to 18C on the heater. So that's interesting. You can turn the heater clear down to 18C. It says currently 24. The wattage is still 560 at the wall. So then that is just the slider for the heater options. All right, real quick before we get too far into the app, the initial password on this thing is admin, all lowercase admin. So once you've already set up your Wi-Fi and then you need to go do any changes, you're gonna have to use that password admin. And the first change you should do in this app is hit the settings button, go down to password. That's actually the first option, password. You're gonna put in admin as the current password, put your new password for the next 2 lines, and then that way you'll have something that you can remember and that you won't have to go reference the user manual to get back into. So now we're already in, we're back to running. This thing is running 816 watts and it is doing just under 30 terahashes currently. So that's just the normal mode, but again, it needs to have a pool address. You need to mine for you, not for whatever this thing is mining to. So again, you're in the settings. So under settings, we have password, pool config, filter clear. That's for the filter for underneath. You have a warranty, support, sync time, and alarm record, which the time synced on its own based off of my Wi-Fi. So that was pretty cool quality of life. It pulled in the actual time and it displays it up here along with the IP address. Now, we already changed the password. Next, we're gonna go ahead and update. Let's update the pool config. So you'll hit the pool config button, and then you have 3 tabs, pool 1, pool 2, pool 3. When you click into the pool address, it gives you an example, stratum plus TCP, mining pool XXX, and then a port number, generic port. So to find a pool, go to miningpoolstats.stream. If you're unfamiliar with how to find a pool, it's pretty easy, miningpoolstats.stream. Select the coin, select Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, whatever you're gonna mine with this guy, and then grab yourself, jump to their site, grab the stratum address and the port. So whenever you put this in, it'll be stratum plus TCP. I'm going to use ViaBTC just because I'm familiar with it and I like that. So in here, I'm going to put in stratum plus TCP :/ bitcoin.viabtc.io : 3333. We'll put it on the screen, but that's the pool that I'm going to use. And the thing about this is you have to put it in all 3. So put it on tab 1, click tab 2, paste it into tab 2. You can put 3 different pool addresses, but I'm just trying to set it to 1. So I'm putting the same one in all 3. If what it does is if the first one's not picking up or working properly, it'll roll over to the next. I'm putting the same one for all 3. So now I've put it the same pool for all 3. Now we need to put our worker. What's the worker? The worker is our Bitcoin address, and then we can put dot period or period, and then name the actual worker so that it shows up in the dashboard with whatever we named it. So we went and grabbed our wallet address, one of our Bitcoin addresses, and we're gonna paste it in, and then we're gonna put period, and then we're just gonna call this one Mini 3. So it's Bitcoin wallet address dot mini 3, and we're going to do the same thing for all 3 tabs because that's where we're mining to. And there's the address dot mini 3. We're going to do it on tab 3. We're going to paste in the Bitcoin address dot mini 3. And now for the password, you can have a password based on the pool, or a lot of times people just use X as the default. So I'm just going to put X on all 3 of these. For now, we'll go back and change things, but this is where we're going to set it. We're going to put a lowercase x, and now we are going to hit save. When you hit save, it's going to ask, please enter your password. Okay, we're going to put in our new password that we just created. And the password is getBent. And then we're going to hit OK. And then it says the device will automatically restart after saving. Are you sure you want to continue? Of course we want to continue. So now it says saving. Now it restarted. Now it said high up here. The power dropped clear down to 10 watts. And so now it's going to reboot. It was actually clear up to 39.5 terahash before we rebooted there at 810 watts. So that's pretty solid. If it's going to actually run that well, that's pretty nice. All right, so real quick, we actually had this set up wrong for ViaBTC. So it wasn't actually hashing. It would try to hash and it just wasn't fully getting there. And it was because for ViaBTC, it's one of those sites kind of like F2 Pool where you create an account. So once you create an account, which I already had one, you put in the account name dot your worker name for the worker in your pool configuration instead of your Bitcoin address dot worker name like it does in some of these other pools, because you actually have to log into the site to manage it. So yeah, that's a ViaBTC and F2 Pool kind of setup. Whereas some of these other pools, you don't actually log in. So again, you just put your Bitcoin dot your worker name. Okay. So once this thing gets rebooted, because now it says disconnected, then we'll reconnect to it and we'll play with some more of these settings. All right, we are rocking and rolling. We're rolling at 39.32 terahash, and that's at 805 watts. So well above the advertised value, at least for now. Of course, things fluctuate, they go up, they go down. So really you need to look at the pool and see what your average is after an hour, after 6 hours, after 24 hours, and see what you really are hashing at. Because sometimes your app or your software will not reflect exactly what's at the pool, and what we care about is the hash rate at the pool. So this is at 39.32 terahash, 810 watts, and that is on the super mode. It's on mining full. So then the current heater is set to 26C. I wish that you could switch this to Fahrenheit. That would be a good quality of life for us in the US, but it's at 26C. Current says 28, and man, I can't even hear this thing running. It really is a silent operation. I can hear one of the bit axes, the RG bit axe over on the side. By the way, you can check that video out above if you're into those kind of things, because it kind of has a loud fan because of the enclosure, but I can't hear this at all. Like, it is completely silent currently. We cannot hear it running, so that is a great piece of a great quality of life right now. So, and I just did it again. So this is the second time I've done that. With this app, the power button and the standby button are like right there, and if you barely brush it, it will pop it into standby mode and stop working, the little power button at the bottom. So then now I just clicked the button and turned the power right back on. We went back to high. The power went clear down to 7 watts. So now we got to fire it back up. But yeah, that's really easy to do. So the timer functionality is really neat because you can set it for, say, 8 a.m. and then close it off at like 10 p.m. so that it's not running all night. Or you can set it so it's only running at night, however you prefer. But then the display button's pretty neat. Red Panda put his own little logo on here. So let's play with it and see if we can't do the same. So if we hit the display button, it shows on at the top where you can turn this display on or off. You have a scroll button, time, and custom. And then there's also a brightness slider. It's set to auto currently. So if we hit custom, then it says no image, but you can hit a little plus sign. So let's hit the plus sign, and then it asks for permissions, because of course the app doesn't naturally have access to the photo album. So we're going to say okay. We're going to say allow limited access, and now we're going to go into our photos and our albums, and we're going to try to find our logo, and we're going to see what it actually displays, because these are kind of big pixels, but pixel art looks cool, right? So let's try to add that and come back. Okay, so yeah, it did work, but really you got to find the right kind of logo to make it into a nice pixel art, because it's an odd shape in the first place, an odd ratio, and there's a limited amount of dots, again, because it's more like a pixel art. So it would be really cool, but again, I tried a couple different My Logos and they looked really wonky. Maybe I'll just get some like Batman symbol or something, put in there and drop in there, and or like a pickaxe. A pickaxe would look really good, like an old style, just regular like pickaxe or something like that, or Bitcoin logo. I think that would look really good on this. We got this thing up and mining. It's running really well, 812 watts, and it's running about 39 terahash on the full power mode. On the eco mode, we're running closer to almost 600 watts, and it's running well over 25 terahash a second. So yeah, it's pretty efficient. It's pretty nice setup. The one caveat that I really don't like about actually any of the Avalon Nano setups, the Nanos, the Mini, and I'm sure the Q, is that you can't just go open the website, the IP address, and actually change any of the configuration from there. It forces you to use the app, which is kind of a bummer. A lot of places that have an app also let you do it just straight in the configuration on the website. So take that with a grain of salt. Personal preference, I like to be able to just log in from any website or any web within the same network, any browser, and actually go to it and change any of my configurations there. Small quality of life thing. Hey, if you're listening to Avalon, make it sure so that I can log in from the website going forward. So just a request. All right, so now we've covered the device. We went over all the menu, the app, how to set this thing up, both the physical setup and the actual app setup, the mining setup, the configuration. Now let's talk about the important part. How much does this thing cost? How much did I pay? So first and foremost, I got it from the Indiegogo Kickstarter as soon as it launched. I was probably one of the first 5 to buy the US, to order the US version. Of course, I didn't get 1 cent early like Red Panda because I'm not a big tech tuber yet. Someday we'll get there. So yeah, I had to wait like everyone else, and I finally got this in, but I paid $1,000 US. It's actually 1,003 US, and then they ask for a little tip on Indiegogo. They try to make you put a $50 tip, so crank that back. I put a $1 tip just to put something in there. Yeah, so then you put your tip in there and you get your Indiegogo, and then that's a contribution towards it's basically like a Kickstarter type program, crowdsourcing, crowdfunding. So then we went ahead and ordered it there for 1,003. By the time all was said and done, I ended up having to pay customs. They're shipping with DHL. So now that we have our tariffs, our import taxes, DHL actually kind of held this one hostage for about a week. I paid for it as soon as they notified me. So make sure that you put a good cell phone in there when you do your order. And then you have to actually verify. This is if you order from overseas to US. This is what you have to do. Then they want a copy of your Social Security number or Social Security card or some other verification documents. So yes, it's kind of in depth through DHL if you're importing. So total cost to door, everything included tariffs, I paid around $1,300 US. So yeah, it's a little pricey. It's not bad, but this is a great device so far. I mean, it's really sleek. The dual purpose gives it more utility than just a Bitcoin miner, right? Because this thing can be moved around. It can be removed around the house, especially during the winter time, the fall time when it starts to get cold. You could put this in a bedroom, in an office, in the main living area, kitchen, whatever. Connect it to the Wi-Fi, and really does radiate quite a bit of heat. I mean, this thing puts out some heat, even on eco mode. This is actually on high power mode at 817 watts. And I mean, it's putting out a good bit of ambient temperature, and you can hardly hear it right now. It's not on night mode. It just isn't cranking that fan. It's radiating that heat like a really nice heater. All right, so that's how much I paid. Now, where can you buy this? So as I mentioned, Indiegogo, you can still buy it through them. You can buy it, but I wouldn't recommend that, especially US, because you're gonna deal with import duties and that hassle isn't worth it, in my opinion. You can go to Bitcoin Merch and order it, and you would pay $1,350, and that's import duties included. You don't have to jump through those hoops to get it, and you'll get it more rapidly. So there's Bitcoin Merch. Who else would I recommend? You could get it through Crypto Miner Bros. I'm seeing it at only $1,100, but then of course they'll add shipping on top of that. But again, no import duties, none of those hoops to jump through, and they will get it to you quick. These are 2 of the trusted sellers that I personally deal with on a regular basis. Links will be down in the description for all these. Where else? You can buy it through Canaan Direct. If you buy it through them direct, again, you're gonna do the same thing with Indiegogo. They're gonna just ship it using DHL, and then you're gonna have to pay import duties and all of that. So there's other places that you can source these from. They are really sleek. So now, let's talk the important part. Profitability. How much does this earn you per day compared to the power usage? We're only going to talk about the full power mode. So full power mode using, we're going to say 800 watts, and we're going to say back to the 37.5 terahash, the given specs, because there is variations up and down depending on your specific unit. So right now it's running 39.7. So 39.7 on 815. So yeah, better, way better than advertised so far. But profitability. The profitability on this was, when I purchased it, $2.50 per day. What is the profitability now? It's in the negative at 12 cents per kilowatt hour. That's right. So it's actually losing money per day. So if it's losing money after electricity, is it a smart buy? Is it a smart buy, and do I recommend this device? So first and foremost, if you're losing money, it depends. It depends on your financial situation. Can you afford to lose money to run a miner, right? For me, I don't take it as a loss. I take it as I'm buying this nice piece of equipment. It has the dual benefit of being used as a heater down the road, especially when it gets colder. It's a really sleek piece of hardware, and man, I'm not going to buy crypto. I rarely buy any crypto. I buy the hardware, and I will mine and hodl the Bitcoin that this thing earns. I'm going to sit on it, and so yeah, it's saying that I'm taking a loss, but if I don't cash it out till Bitcoin's $200,000 someday down the road, I actually earned a lot of profit over time, right? So this is a long-term play. And this is a play for those who, one, love hardware, love tech, love ASICs, mining, just love mining in general. And two, those who can afford to sit, hodl, and stack the coins. That's my plan, and that's where I'm going forward, and that's how I'm looking at this hardware, and that's how I'm looking at a lot of the hardware that I've been picking up lately. The AlphaPex DG1 Home, the Volk Miner DG1 Mini that I'm getting, a lot of the mini Doge miners that I have, the lottery miners. I can afford to lose that money in electricity and to reinvest into my future. These are a long-term play, essentially. So yeah, I think that about does it. I'm gonna go move this thing, put it into the mining cave, set it up in a nice location, let it do its thing, let it mine, just monitor it on the pole, make sure that it runs properly, that it runs efficiently, and we're gonna mine it till the wheels fall off. What do you think? What about you? What are your thoughts on this device? Do you think it's a smart play? Do you think it's a great innovative piece of technology? Have you picked one of these up? If so, tell us down below. Tell us your thoughts. The mining community would love to hear your thoughts as well. So I think that about wraps it up for today. If you're new to mining, need some help, make sure to join the Misfit Mining Discord. Always plenty of seasoned vets in there willing to help you out. And if you like the video, you know what to do. Smash that like button and subscribe for future content. Thanks for coming along and enjoy the ride.